If you've been following along, you'll know how we got to this point. I used AI in the last video to come up with some design ideas for a headset stand. My plan was to take what I thought to be the best ones and try to build them as close to the original AI design as possible. I completed the first build in the previous video, and I couldn't wait to replicate this design. The only thing that was left was to draw it up. I'm using the original image in Cut 2D, that way I can match the proportions. As you can see here, I relied heavily on snapping lines to other lines, and also to corners. Since some of this design was missing, I just tried to make it as true to the original design as I could, and also add some structural integrity. I'm just showing the highlights of this process real quick, then we'll get to the build. If you're watching this video and don't know where this design came from, it originated from part 1 of this AI design series. This was actually going to be the third headset stand, but I liked it so much I couldn't wait to get started on it. You're going to notice how I changed the design for the final product. One thing, I removed the circles. One problem was they just didn't add anything to it, and also they took it over the 6x12 piece of brass that I had. Okay, so we got that out of there, and now we just have to pull off 800 pieces of double-sided tape. So I've got the base battened down. I'm hoping it should cut around in this area. I'll leave the dark on the front like the other one. And we'll see how this goes. Okay, so here they go. I cut them back to back to try to make them book match a little bit. We'll see how that works out. So I'm kind of having second thoughts on this. My thoughts at first was it would be easier to do this, put the finish on it, then attach this to this once it's cut. Or maybe I should have just glued this on this piece and cut it on there. The hard thing, of course, would be the brass, but in hindsight, I could have put the finish over the brass, finished the whole piece, and then just sanded down the brass. Because it is thick enough. It's not super thick. It's almost a 32nd, but oh well. It's something I didn't do, so I'm just going to have to deal with it. Since there's really no way around this, I'm just going to glue this surface down. The old super glue trick to try to get it, and then peel it up and hope. Come on, baby. Nope. So after 2 hours of this cut, and then changing some stuff and it not working out, we're going to stage 2 here to try the backup one and hope this survives. While I was at it, I went ahead and surfaced the wasteboard because that was part of the problem. It was so janky the tape no longer stuck. So here we go. So to maximize the suction on this boot to make sure all this stuff is coming out of there, I had to do a little modificating before this. Since I had everything right here, this cut only took 20 minutes. I wish I had that time back. So this is one of those things where you don't remember what you used last time you cut brass. So you grab all this stuff, cut very badly, and then you find the bits and you even label them like you should have. It just goes right through, man, like butter. All right, we'll see how this thing's gonna fit. Oh man, that's gonna look cool. Yeah. So there is one thing I just thought about. I didn't make this to where it's going to be buried in here, which is no big deal. I can cut it off. But also up here, I could have left that top off since this is going to be glued on to support the headphones. It really doesn't need that extra. So, looks good though. Go. So to try to make this succeed, I double-sided tape both sides of this. Then I'm going to put something over the top to lock that in place. That way, because the worst case scenario would be grabbing this and tweaking it and it would be over. So, all right. So this is how we're going to resolve it. So this is the result of me not thinking this through and having to make some last minute adjustments on this. Because I really don't want to glue that piece that's going to hold those headphones to a random piece of brass. Like I feel like that wouldn't hold real well. All right, there we go. So this is where that came into play. That needs to mount up there. This needs to go in these holes. And then this will go on the end of here. So it's time for the moment of truth. You know what, we're not going to need a crazy amount of glue on this. I know I always say that, but it's true. So let's do this. Let's get them a little bit here, a little bit here. There we go. We are set. I honestly should have put tape around these before I glued them because cleaning them up wasn't fun at all. Okay, we got one more thing we need to do. And that's right here. We need to put on this piece right here. Just a note, this part was kind of weird to glue. And it will be just fine. So I got these, which I thought these kind of looked like on the picture. See if I can get focus here. Okay. So the idea is to be able to screw these in, and these kind of be that highlight piece that you see in the picture. So I think if I screw those in, let's see, it looks like it'll come out the bottom. So that's fine. I can file them down a little bit, and that'll make them fit, and it'll be perfect. But I didn't think about these making it all the way through. I probably should have got them shorter, or maybe not. Maybe they'll look cool hanging out of the bottom. But whatever the case, I didn't put this all the way through, so I'm going to have to drill them. So I need to put these on something so that it doesn't bust out the bottom and look funky. I never thought I'd use these hex head drill bits this much, but anything smaller than say a 1/4 inch I use all the time, and I've used them with this extension more than I can count. So this is where the decision is kind of tough. The question is, do I put finish on this and then glue this down? Or do I glue this down and then put finish on? I'm kind of leaning towards taping off the front and putting finish on here. That way if any of the super glue runs over it, it'll just blend in with the finish. I think that's what I'm going to try. I bought a sprayer about 6 months ago. I have yet to try it. So until then, rattle can lacquer it is. So now we're just going to try this. This is our experiment right here. Alright, here we go. Man, I don't see why this won't work perfect, actually. It's looking pretty good right there. Yeah, I think this is going to work. Okay, here we go. It's time to drop it like it's hot. All right. We have it. Now we need to put some weight on this. Fudge. Wah, wah. Okay, and looking at this, the glue somehow got on top of this. If I were to do this again, I would definitely glue the whole sheet of brass to that wood, cut it out on the CNC, and cut it out as a whole. That would eliminate all of this problem. Okay. It's not horrible. It needs a little love. I'm going to have to research how to polish brass because I really have no idea. Here I just drilled a hole in a piece with the same thickness as the bottom. That way I could easily take these bolts down to the right length. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty on this. This build was a lot of fun to try and emulate that original design. My daughter helped me to capture how stunning this actually looks, and it looks even better in real life. It has me excited about upcoming builds, and I hope you'll like and subscribe to take those future journeys with me. So now, what we've all been waiting for.